we're gonna pick up right where we left off. I'm so sorry, Ben. I just guess I had to
Okay.
just move some stuff. All right, so where were we? We're talking about classes that
Classes.
you run. Yeah. So how would you
Okay.
like organize a class like that and like cuz everybody could be at different steps.
Right.
So how would you
Okay.
know how to get everybody?
So, um, usually with TRX, for actually up until right before we kind of had to close, it would be 6 week classes. So we would start again. TRX actually has a very similar basic 7 movements, and it does follow that same pattern of push, pull, squat, lunge, turn, twist. They just don't have gait because you don't walk in
Okay.
TRX. So with that, you start there and you kind of build up. But now it's kind of open to okay, um, anybody can come in. They have a punch card, so it's a different system. But with that, I'll still have okay, if the lunge is a great example because a lunge, if you just do a basic lunge, it's kind of that reverse step that people would do with a TRX, and then they would step back up. Well, you can change that to both feet planted, and you can do a B-step squat where you line your heel and toe up, but are in that shoulder width stance. So usually you kind of think, okay, how do I move this? You can move this exercise up in case something comes up, or how do I move it down in case something comes up if they're injured or something, or how do I make it more difficult if it becomes too easy? So it's just kind of always building your repertoire of
Okay.
okay, we've got the lunge. How do I make it harder? How do I make it easier? Um, Even like how do you change the plane of it so you could do a lateral lunge or a lunge you could even turn into a step up to make it harder. So it's kind of over the years you kind of think, okay, these are my basic movements. How do I make them more challenging? It's the same with anything like pushes, push-ups, increasing or decreasing pitch with the TRX. That's one way to do that. Um, you got to also look and see, and especially in a class setting, you're going to have
So, yeah, several
you're going
people.
to have 10 plus people in a class, and you're going to have to kind of cue to your audience. So you might have two people that are doing a squat and their knees are caving in, but everybody else is fine. You can just kind of give a, hey, remember, keep your knees over your toes, keep those knees out, like general cueing. So it's trying to do a good job of surveying the room as people are doing those movements. And a lot of times in a group exercise class, you're doing those movements with them. So the best, making sure you have the best form helps them see, okay, this is how he's moving. So it's kind of, learning to multitask and kind of really keeping your head on that swivel.
Okay. So from on your training, your personal training, your group classes, do you deal with like nutrition in any ways or like helping improve other people's lifestyles of that sort?
I do not do any of the deep nutrition. So due to licensing, registered dietitians or licensed dietitians would have to be the ones that could do that. But with the degree I have and the CPT I have, we can go up through MyPlate. So anything that the government has put out on their website, myplate.gov, I can go up and explain those things. And I did a few presentations for a group in town here dealing with that. So, it's the very basic stuff, but it's very, it's helpful. It's still helpful. It's, making sure you get those servings of fruits and vegetables in, making sure, you're balancing your plate so it's not, all carbohydrates are all, big grains or
Right.
I think it's grains now. So, so it's very minimum with that just because of, the the true legality of it. So
Okay. So you said like deep nutrition. Like what is that? Is that like more like certified
that
just
would
for nutrition?
that would be looking at somebody's macronutrient requirements. Usually, what Kate will do with that, that's why we do have a registered dietitian on staff, and she'll sit down and she'll do the more detailed stuff. So that's more looking at macronutrients, maybe or micronutrients. If they have, if they've gone to the doctor and they've had blood panels, they might know other deficiencies they might need, certain disorders, diabetes that will have issues on your diet. So she's better. She's more suited, I guess, to deal with that because of her education. So
Okay, that makes so. What would be the difference between like you and like a strength and conditioning coach? Cause like you run classes, you do like similar exercises, but what's the difference really?
strength conditioning coach typically is more in that. It could be a collegiate setting, it could be a team, it's some sort of team setting where you're getting in groups. A lot of my stuff, at least for personal training, is going to be one-on-one, and it's going to be more personalized to that client. A strength and conditioning coach could do one-on-ones, and that would better suit that athlete just to make sure that they're getting what they need to improve.
Okay.
Where that strength and conditioning coach, in a general sense, is probably dealing with 10 plus athletes, and they're just having a general program for that. They'll do the same where they'll, if, player A can do a squat fine, but player B can't, player B might do a modified squat. It's just going to be more in a sports setting than anything. That being said, we do have some strength and conditioning specialists on staff that do personal training. So
Oh.
The CSCS through National Strength and Conditioning Association is similar to the CPT that I have. It's just it requires a bachelor's degree, so it's a little bit more than what mine requires. Mine would just require a high school education, but I like having that, the combination of the degree and that.
All right. So actually, going off of what you were just talking about with like your education and stuff, what did you have to like? So you graduated from high school, and then what was your like path, quote unquote, if that makes any sense, through your collegiate career?
So my my path was a little bit different because I did go to school initially, and I got a degree in biology. I swam 1 year with that, but by the end of it, I kind of knew I wanted to do something different. Took some time off, worked in the gym setting, and then from there was able to go back to school. So I kind of I went back knowing I wanted to be a personal trainer, but wanted to kind of do as much education for it as I could.
Okay.
And potentially even go into like the physical therapy route if I wanted to, or something along those lines. But so it was a little, it was kind of a little bit of a winding path because I had a degree before I went into this degree, but it just wasn't in what I wanted. It wasn't in this field, so I really wanted to help people, and an animal bio degree does not really help.
Okay, yeah. So you started your pursuit for like in biology to begin with, but you just ended up switching over. So that was just
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I do have. It's one of the most expensive pieces of paper that I have, and I've done really nothing. So I have a bio degree. It's just looks nice on the wall.
You're universal though. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You're really universal.
Fun stories to clients and
right.
Like, oh, did you know this about this animal?
See, you can. It's a really good icebreaker.
Yeah.
You just got a really expensive piece of paper, so good icebreakers, Ben.
Oh.
Well, I feel like you kind of answered my next question. I was gonna ask, like, what was your main purpose of? I was gonna say choosing, but changing to your like kinesiology program.
Just to better help people. I mean, it's one thing to like a lot of people do like to work out, and then they think, oh yeah, personal training. It's like it is a human. It's helping people. We've had other trainers that I've worked with where it's like there's sessions where the physical part of it isn't even the challenge. It's more of a a mental. It's just they call it like a therapy session, like where they just they're sitting and they're talking and they're kind of venting out their day. We're doing a lot more now to try to tie in our mental health to our physical health because there is such a relationship between the two. So as much as we can even listen, like some people might come in and they're having the crappiest day, but their session is something they look forward to. Or someone, like if they have an issue with their health and it's like, I need to lose this weight so I can have this surgery, they might be, it's like, I'm kind of here because my doctor told me to be here. But then if you can get through and connect with them, you make it easier for them to show up. They want to show up. They keep coming back.
Okay.
So
So how would you deal with like say you have a client and he or she comes in and they're just having a bad day and you just it's kind of up to you to like read that situation, be a better person and just like kind of take it as it is. So some days do you just maybe not really even work out, just take it as like a therapy session, or do you just
some trainers will. If it came to that, it would be something simple as we might go. We have two indoor tracks basically. If one's on the soccer arena, but if that one's not open, it's something as simple as going and maybe just walking and talking. I had a client that had to take time off, and when they came back, it wasn't even a session. It was just I wanted to get in and talk and catch up and make sure I don't have anything new I have to worry about. But we literally just walked around and talked for like a half an hour, and that might be what the session has to be. Um, Sometimes you might just might have to talk a little bit. And it kind of depends on the client. If it's a brand new client, like day one is not good for them, it's gonna be a struggle for them to come back. So
okay.
it might be that day one where it's like, okay, you had the fitness consult, they didn't want to do the assessment, and they just aren't having it. You might need to either modify your plan, and that's something, like I was saying about changing exercises around. You have a plan. You might complete like if someone came in and I had this like normal, okay, we're going to do a strength workout today, but then they were not having a good day.
Right.
All right, let's grab the slam ball and let's go outside. Let's go out and we'll throw it against the wall, throw it against the ground. Get that aggression out. They're kind of if they seem down, trying to do things like the more you know them, the more you know what kind of picks them up. So you might be able to bring up something and kind of get them to come back around. So you really do build relationships with those clients, and that's what helps keep those clients for a long period of time. Is really connecting with them. So there's always kind of that mental aspect to it, even though your job in theory is physical. You're trying to better their physical health, but we've been finding we're helping better mental health as well.
So there's to a point sort of a psychology kind of standpoint with your motivation and like just being a good person.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
So and you kind of got to recognize like what stages of there's stages of change. So someone who's very new to the idea of change, you got to kind of take it slow with them. You can't if somebody's like, oh, I'm thinking about coming to the gym, cool, be positive about it.
Right. Encourage
if
them.
they get to the point of like, okay, I came in and I got some stuff, be like, well, did you know, simple piece of information for them. So we do that with our tours as well. So with the YMCA, we have a lot of different areas. One of them is technically our building supervisors, but us personal trainers will also give tours. And what that helps do is it makes those initial connections with the new member. So
right.
The new member comes in and you notice they've got kids. They mention like, oh yeah, this, one of the kids is in first grade. We have a program that's for second graders. Like, oh, did you know we have a program here that all second graders in Oshkosh get free swim lessons? So you can make connections with programs. Or, did one of them mention about like a family member having cancer? Did you know about our Livestrong program? So it's listening to them. It's listen first skills. So asking open-ended questions and allowing a conversation to happen. It allows you to make those connections better with people. So, and that helps develop that personal relationship with them. Like, oh, hey, you might see that member then, every other day and be like, oh, how's your grandkid doing? How's your kid doing? Those type of things. So those little things can help build into that better relationship. So you can better then tell if they become a client what you need to do.
Perfect. Well, that sounds exactly what I kind of want to pursue with that form of like helping people, encouraging people, working in an open setting where you're not, stuck somewhere just looking at your computer. I want to be out and encourage people and help people because physical fitness is a pretty important thing. It's a big part of life, especially like now with like everybody at home and everybody's gonna kind of like roll into summer or something like that,
Yeah.
just unhealthy.
Yep.
So
And that's why. So we took, and we've been doing virtual stuff. So basically, we realized people don't have a lot of equipment at home. So we were trying to think, okay, how do we give them a workout using things at home? How do we, you know, like, and my big thing with movement is always, okay, they're going to be sitting a lot. So what
mm-hmm.
things can we do to help with that? So I was just kind of trying to help them out the best you can. So um, yeah, it's crazy because we're so used to seeing hundreds of people come through a building every day, and now it's a month and a half later or something, and we're just still trying to figure out stuff. So
Yeah, it's a
but
big damper to everything, but
yeah,
it happens. It wouldn't happen unless there was a reason, right?
right.
Huh. So
So
I pretty much got just about everything I have. Sorry for the little hiccup in the middle there.
that's fine. Technology is,
I
it's
know.
great when it works, and then it's terrible when it doesn't. So
It happens. But I appreciate you for doing this, like
yeah,
taking the
no
time out.
problem.
And I know we try to get it together going earlier, but then
Yeah,
like Easter and then midterms, and then we got
yeah,
busy again. And then it's all right. We got it. We got it figured out. No worries.
yeah.